Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats Podcast. This week on the cast, we have Hoffman and Zaberwolf. We're going to go through some of the nerdy news from the week. We also sat down and watched the first episode of the new Halo series, so we'll have a good conversation about that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the boys in, give them a warm welcome. Yo, what's up, gentlemen?
Bento,
what's up,
friend,
Bento?
how are you?
Yo. What's happening, guys? Happy Sunday.
Ready for this marvelous chat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. How was the weekend, guys?
Oh man, it flew by, huh?
I know.
Yeah, I really did.
I blinked, I was like,
quick.
it's Sunday? I've done nothing fun yet.
Nothing but work.
I was at a big party last night and drank a little too much. Woke up still drunk this morning, so it's like literally slept most of the afternoon. Just I had to try and sleep it off because I was in one of the worst states I've been in a few years. So, it was awful. It was awful. But apart from that, it was great. Great weekend.
Oh, you're gonna be hurt for 2 days.
Yeah, I'm hoping not because I have to actually travel for work tomorrow. So I'm hoping I'm gonna record this cast, and then I'm going to bed. No games tonight.
You need to get Finto back in church. This is ridiculous.
We're here for strictly business tonight.
So where's your threshold now, Finto? I know you're getting older, so like, you know, when you drink.
How dare you? Man,
Wow, just attacking people.
They had so it was my girlfriend's dad's 60th and it was her sister's boyfriend's 30th. They share a birthday. And one was 30 and one was 60, so they were kind of two big enough numbers, so they had a big massive party. They have like a house with a bunch of land on the west coast of Ireland, so they like literally put up like a gazebo out the back and had like catered food in and all this sort of stuff, and it was really good. It was really good. They installed 2 taps, so they had Coors Light and Guinness on tap, so you literally went up and I was just pulling my own pints all night. So I ended up having like 7 or 8 points, and then
Which one did you do, Guinness or Coors?
Course, I don't like Guinness.
Wow!
Yeah,
Wow!
Dude, not a fan.
That's insane.
I know, dude. I know. I'm ashamed. I put a shame on my fellow Irishmen, but I've really tried. I've really tried to like it, and I just can't. I can't enjoy it. So it is what it is. But yeah, I had about 7 or 8 pints of Coors. Then I had.
Coors is like straight trash beer.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on here.
It's shit, but it was free, so I don't mind. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
okay,
it's easy to drink.
Oh yeah.
And then we had a couple of, I think there was like cocktails going around, so I had a couple of like strawberry daiquiris, and then I moved on to the Jameson, which was not a good idea. I wasn't even measuring it. I was just pouring it into a pint glass and then just pouring some ginger ale on top. So I could barely.
You were making a concoction.
Oh fucking hell, dude! I was That's why I was so fucked today, because I just mixed way too many things together.
Finto tied one off last night.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
Yeah, dude. It was rough. It was rough. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm actually feeling a lot better now. Probably just because I've fucking slept half the day.
You might be in that sweet spot between being still drunk and not hungover yet, so it might happen tonight.
I think I slept through the hangover because I woke up, and normally I know when I'm over it because my stomach will start grumbling and I start getting hungry. I can't eat when I'm hungover. So second I hear or feel my stomach going, I'm like, okay, we're right at the other end. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That sounds horrible though.
Oh no, dude! Like I hate it. Like, you know, since the pandemic hit. Like, I haven't been drinking much. I've had a couple of sessions. Like, I went to a wedding and a few, like 1 or 2 nights out over the last 2 years. But like, I haven't been drinking at all. So I'm just not used to it whatsoever.
Pandemic got me out of drinking. Like, I don't drink barely ever anymore.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then I know people who, like, you know, are very comfortable with just drinking in the house by themselves. So I'm kind of happy it went that way rather than the other way, you know. Okay. This week podcast. I've got a couple of bits to go over. There's been some Marvel and DC news and Star Wars stuff during the week. We're which I think we can go through. I heard a couple of rumors, finally, a bit of detail about Blade, which I'm very excited to talk about and see what you guys think.
Yes, 'cause I had not heard that at all, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so it should be good because it's been the most kept secret in Marvel since the announcement. There's been nothing about it. So again, these rumors could be bullshit, but I think a lot of them are. They're not really rumors, you know. Like I think it's pretty solid information that they just label as rumors so they don't get in trouble and stuff, you know.
Sure.
Right.
And I don't know if everybody watched it, but I just got finished up watching the Halo episode. Did you guys watch it?
Oh, I forgot to watch it.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
I'm all for the spoilers. It's fine.
We could.
I will watch it.
We'll talk about it. I'm curious to see what everybody thinks of it, and yeah, we'll get into that anyway. So
Tough one there.
Yeah, dude, it was a tough watch. So let's start with a bit of Morbius.
Oh boy,
get this shit train rolling.
Because I know the movie's coming out soon. It's out on April 1st, so which seems like a troll if you think about it. It's like because it's I don't know, bro. But basically, one thing I heard during the week, which made me laugh out loud, was the director has said that there is a Spider-Man, the Avengers, and Fantastic Four in the Morbius universe, right? But the Morbius universe is not in the Raimi verse, it's not in Andrew's universe, and it's not even in the Venom verse.
What does that even mean?
So it's its own thing again. Like, so I think everyone's kind of presumption and everyone's hope was that this either belonged to Tobey's universe, like the Raimi verse, or at least Andrew's universe, you know, like somewhere where they could tie in another Spider-Man. But what the director is saying is that there is a Spider-Man in this universe, but it's not one we've ever met before, so it's another Spider-Man. And in this universe, there's the Avengers and Fantastic Four already, like, established. So it's like...
Interesting.
I don't know. I really don't know, like, what the game is, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, though, like, you have the Daredevil series, and they were trying to say that they're going to have some things be canon in it, right? But like but the next season is actually going to be based off the MCU, and so my thought is that they're kind of just creating their own universe because we're in a multiverse right now. So I mean, you could just establish whatever the hell you want. You can make it as wacky as you want, and then if it does bad, you'd be like, well, it was just a different universe.
Yeah.
I mean, my only thought process is like, do you think Marvel would let them like have an Avengers within the Sony universe?
I don't think we'll ever see them on screen. I think it might just be kind of like Daredevil 1, where it's like there'll be mentions of Thor and Iron Man and stuff like that, and like Reed Richards and, you know, Mr. Fantastic and stuff. But I don't think we'll actually ever see them on screen, you know?
So do you think this is just like the director trying to get people excited for the
Maybe.
Morbius universe?
Yeah, maybe
More
he's
than
just
likely.
lying. Maybe he's just lying.
Why even bring it up if like you're not going to show them on screen? Like, oh, here's a reference to the Avengers. That's getting my thing going there in 2022. Like I have an entire MCU where I can go see the Avengers. Oh, you're going to mention them? I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Did they ever confirm that, you know, the Michael Keaton was actually playing Adrian Toomes at all, or are we still kind of ambiguous about that?
Yeah, I think again this was another thing I was going to bring up. So apparently, why they've had Michael Keaton on set so recently is because all of the footage that he shot originally for the film has all been removed from the movie, and they've brought him back to shoot a different scene again, right? So like all the original bits, like from the original trailers, like where we saw the Spider-Man that looked like Raimi's Spider-Man with the murderer over it and stuff, all that's gone. And there's a new scene shot, which apparently is going to be one of the after credit scenes, and it's being described as another kind of Ralph Boner moment. Like, it's going to be him just there, but he's not actually Toomes, or I don't even think he's Vulture at all. Like, they don't mention him by name or anything like that. And it's just going to be like, oh, there's Michael Keaton, but it's not the character from the 616. Like,
Right.
I've read some spoilers that establish him as Vulture and establish like that he did come from the MCU universe. And they went and like there's like 2 post-credit scenes, and there was even like a screen grab of like the Vulture wings next to like Doc Ock's arms,
wow.
Oh boy.
like hanging.
Wow.
So who knows? I guess we'll see it on the first, right? Like which one of these is true.
Yeah.
Right.
I did hear something about him being released from prison because he comes from a universe where he didn't commit those crimes. So they let him out because he didn't do any, like, he hadn't done any crimes in this universe.
Yeah, which makes no sense. Like, how does he cross over to their universe when the end of No Way Home was about everyone going back to their own universes? It just
I have no idea, man.
What is this, man? Like,
yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute dumpster fire.
And all they would have to do is be like, yeah, this is just, Vulture from our universe. He doesn't come from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like he's Vulture here. Like that's the multiverse. Sometimes they look the same. I don't know. Like it's so dumb.
Yeah,
that's my speculation is that they're just gonna be like he just looks the same. That's it.
Yeah, same like character, but just playing a different person. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know, bro. I was looking forward to it. I am very scared right now. I don't know what to be thinking.
I'm still looking forward to it. I mean, whether it's a good movie or a bad movie, it's still a movie, and we still get to experience it, and then we get to talk about it.
True. I think we'll have a good fun talking about it after the fact.
I'm gonna have a blast talking about this movie.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna be a bit of a punching bag of a review. So that could be fun. I really hope Leto doesn't shit the bed twice. Like,
I was going to. I didn't know this, but apparently his role in the Gucci movie he just did, he won a Razzie for it, which means like it's the opposite of the Oscar. It's like a terrible performance.
Oh God.
So
yeah,
Jared Leto somehow just keeps like failing on upward, man. He just keeps getting roles that nobody likes him in. Like nobody likes Jared Leto in any role he's getting, and he keeps getting them.
Did you see he's in that new Apple show about WeWork?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So he there's a trailer. It's him and Anne Hathaway. And like the trailers look pretty good. Like I'll probably check it out because I'm kind of interested in the story. Like it's based on the true events of what happened with WeWork. Like literally they went in a year, they made like $47 billion, like went to be like just such a lucrative company. And then within 1 year they lost like 80% of their worth or something. Like it just like plummeted. Like, so, I actually don't know the story, the real story. So like, I'm curious just to watch it and see it unfold. I kind of don't want to read up on it now and just like kind of watch it for the entertainment value. But like they've done something with his face doesn't look the same. There's like some sort of like prosthetic on his face, like he doesn't look like Jared Leto at all. It's very weird. But it does look pretty good.
Well, then just to tack on to House of Gucci, I think that some of the family members that like actually were survived, they had explicitly explained that, their uncle was not like sounding like an idiot when he was like during that time frame. So it was like they felt insulted and they felt like it was overdone because they just wanted to make them sound like this all the time. And it's like, and it like apparently that's not how they really interacted with each other. They were a little bit smarter than that, and they really did portray the uncle as like being a dummy.
Yeah, they're northern Italians, all right. They're not the southern ones.
No.
Movies do this all the time. They over dramatize stuff, and people get upset.
Yeah,
money's nice though.
True.
And like Gucci's, they're not complaining about the movie, right? Money they got, so
absolutely. Not really on topic, but an RIP to the fucking Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins died yesterday.
Jeez,
awful, and they're bringing out a movie, and they kind of made like a kind of parody movie, like a kind of horror movie, starring them all. So that'll be kind of like one of the last things that he's probably done, So sad, man. I love that band so much. Like I was listening to them yesterday. Like just
Mhm.
very sad, very sad. Poor Dave Grohl. Like he's like loses band members around him all the time. Like by the looks of it, like it's just crazy. Poor man.
Yeah, what tragedy.
Yeah.
And 50, that is incredibly young, especially for nowadays. Like 50 is incredibly young nowadays for people to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And it came out of nowhere, right? Like how could you ever expect something like that to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
But sad.
Yeah, I think I think he had a heart attack or something in his hotel room before a show. And
you guys have heard about like that situation where like 50 or 51 for certain famous people, like they tend to go around that age.
Well,
have you ever heard of that?
I haven't heard of it, but it makes sense because like drug use, like heavy drug use, even if you sober up, whatever, it just does damage. Like
he was bad for years. I think he was into he was addicted to heroin and everything, as far as I know. So yeah, like that, your body never repairs from that. And then like you got to think as well, like it's like the drinking session I had last night. He's probably been doing that for 20 years, like So it's like seriously, like every night on tour they're just getting absolutely shit faced. Like even when I watch Dave Grohl doing Hot Ones, like he's drinking on his show, like, and it's like nobody drinks on that show, and he's like making up cocktails between each wing. Like it's just like they're fucking party animals, man. Like that's what rock stars are, like So yeah, it's very sad. I think your man from Soundgarden was around that age as well.
Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely there's the whole kind of 27 club as well. Like a lot of famous people go around 27. I remember when I turned 27, all my friends were like, "Oh, because I was a bit of a mad cunt back then." Like it was like, "You're definitely going this year." And when I made it to 28, I was just like, "I made it, lads! I survived." Oh, so funny, so funny. Let me see, what other Marvel news do I have? So they, again, just a bit of No Way Home stuff. So the special features, they released a trailer for the special features, which Alex, I wouldn't mind maybe just pop it up and we could just watch it real quick. Because last week we did. Do you remember the discussion we had last week about the original Jabba the Hutt? I put that up online. Like I was putting that clip up around the place and getting some really good feedback on it. Like people were like, wow, didn't know this. This is really cool information. Like it'd be might be a good idea to like try and put in like a kind of fun fact or something about like movies or something like that, and we can kind of just clip it out and throw it around the place. And it's a good idea. I think it's a really good idea, and there's something cool about No Way Home in this clip that I want to show, and that can potentially be this week's one.
Do you know when it was released? Because I'm only seeing like the one that was about a month ago.
I'll get you the thing now. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
But basically, yeah. So there's a kind of story behind the clip. So give me a second here. Sorry, I was doing a bit of work on my computer on Friday, and I cleared all my caches and stuff like that because I hadn't done it in ages. Cleared off like 12 gigs of shit. Crazy.
You heard about the release of the the deleted scene from the Batman 2, right?
Oh my god, yeah, that we're gonna talk about that. I was thinking, could we throw it up, but maybe not. I don't know.
That
probably not.
Kind of hard to
like
touch on.
5 minutes, and Warner Brothers are awful on YouTube. Like they're so bad. Like they cut people off very easily. So I love the clip, and if anybody in the chat or listening to us hasn't seen it, they basically Warner Brothers released a 5-minute clip with Barry Keoghan playing the Joker, and it's fucking wild. It's wild. We'll touch on it. We'll talk about it now in a few minutes. I'm just trying to find this clip here.
I was rewatching The Green Knight recently, and your boy Barry Keoghan was in it. I didn't realize that.
Man, he's popping up everywhere.
I know.
He's doing work, man. And like now the fact that he's like a Joker, Joker's such an iconic role to get. I know obviously Leto is talked about as Joker for all the wrong reasons. But you know, I think that Barry's going to do a great job, just even from this scene that we've watched. He just seems like a really good Joker, and the fact that he's in the MCU as well, like, you know, he's kind of set now. You know, he's laughing.
Yeah, it's starting to look like he's becoming a typecast kind of actor. So it's interesting to see that, especially like, you know, you see Zendaya. I'm pretty sure you're going to see Zendaya like more often. Jason Momoa is starting to pop up everywhere. Like, you're starting to see all these different people that are just, you know, they wow the crowd, and so now they want them, like, you know, people want them on everything. They want them on commercials even.
Absolutely. Oh my god, I can't.
I want to shoot from the hip and blow the segment, but I'm just going to prepare you for my Joker.
You didn't like it?
Jared Leto and Barry feel like they're on the same level to me.
No way, bro.
Well, honestly, it's a splice. Like, when I first saw that clip, I was thinking, I think they're going a little too weird. Even though it's supposed to be realism, it's getting weird, like even more weird than Joker, which is really weird to say.
Well, Matt Reeves has said that he this version of Joker has like a birth defect in his face, so he can't stop smiling, and then obviously he's, by the looks of it, like mutilating his own face or whatever. Like, and I think they're gonna pull on the story on the comic run where he cuts his face off, and yeah, like, I think he'll get his face back then, and he'll like have it stapled to his face and stuff. Like, it seems like they're going very kind of dark and gritty, which I'm all about. And I think I kind of got to get a mix of like Hamill from him. Like, Hamill's, his laugh kind of sounded a little Mark Hamill-y, and he reminded me of the young Joker that was in the Gotham show, played by the dude who's Cal Kestis. I kind of got a mix between the two of them.
That was my problem, because I think he looks great. Like, I think the prosthetics and all that look great. I like the backstory of that idea that he can't stop smiling. Awesome. But like, it was so cheesy. It felt like Gotham. It felt like a overrated TV show of a character. I couldn't get into it. Like, I felt like he was so out of place within this Batman universe that Matt Reeves built, that kind of felt like it was grounded and kind of real in a little bit in a way, but still kind of felt like it had this, you know, fantasy aspect to it. And then I got to him, and it was like it was a bridge too far, and I did not like his Joker performance there. He was just too over the top, too into it. Yeah,
too much like an inmate, not enough like a Joker. Yeah, you know, because no matter where you place Joker, he's going to be the Joker. Just because he's in a cell doesn't make him any different from who he is.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Mark Hamill, even though like Mark Hamill's, the way he plays it is so much more laid back, right? Where he doesn't feel like he's I don't know how to describe it. Like, he feels crazy but not out of his mind, and this Joker just feels out of his mind. Like, he's
completely.
I think that's a quite accurate like portrayal of the comic version of the Joker, though. And I think that like Matt Reeves is trying to make this a comic book like a adaptation, like. So personally, I love it. I think it's great. But I can see why people wouldn't like it. You know, it's not for everybody.
I mean, you don't think Mark Hamill's was comic book accurate, and the stuff in the Arkham series?
It was, but I think that the two of them are very similar. This version of Joker, I think, is just like twisted, which the Joker is. You know.
Well, I would say like one of the positives about the Mark Hamill Joker, especially like in the animated series, is the fact that he's not necessarily tied to his smile. Like, he can frown, he can have expressions, and that's something that I really like about the Joker in the animated series. When they just stretch the face because of any sort of accident, I mean, that's fine and all, but like, I do like the aspect of him being just a clown-faced kind of person that can have expressions of their own, especially when they're upset with the fact that, you know, things are going like not their way. And it's really tough when you have prosthetics. Like, even though you couldn't really see Barry Keoghan's like face too well, you could tell like it was really hard for him to move his lips.
And to me,
his teeth are so messed up and all. I think it's great, man. I think it's great.
To me, it's just the performances. It was so like edgelord almost, right? I'm just like, ugh, like, I don't need this. Like, it's the same as Jared Leto, same as Gotham Theories. Like, I just don't feel like they capture this kind of like laid backness to the Joker that I think like Jack Nicholson captured. I think Heath Ledger captured that very well, where they were crazy, but they were kind of laid back in it and felt secure. It felt like they
Yeah.
already, even though they were coming off as crazy, they were completely in control of the situation, what was going on. And you know, this guy is just he's just so weird because he's so drawn out with everything he's saying. Like I just,
It's I can agree with that. It starts to sound a little bit like Harley Quinn almost.
yeah,
Like
it
what?
just wasn't my cup of tea. And
Yeah.
it is the same way I felt about him during the quick scene they had in Arkham with the Riddler of just not like I don't like that portrayal of the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
The one thing I do have to say about Jack Nicholson's Joker is the fact that like those movies back then were still kind of trailing off, and I think this is one of the things that I think is also like a gift and a curse when it comes to Batman movies. When you have a big hit, the rest of the movies that follow that same method. And so when you think about it, like 66 Batman, you know, it's very campy, a bunch of fun stuff is going on. They're always like trying to one up each other in a sense. And then you see Jack Nicholson's portrayal and he's literally trying to, you know, one up Batman and one up like, you know, the whole storyline and setting. And it works because like that the movie's just designed that way. When Heath Ledger did such a good job, that's when everything shifted. And now everything needs to be around like a villain that has this weirdness about their physique. And in addition to that, like I think they're like the acting starts to kind of drag after a while due to the fact that like you can't really compete against that Joker. Like it's so hard to do. And I wanted to correct myself from the last time when I said that Jared Leto was a method actor. I forgot to think about the fact that Heath Ledger is also a method actor, but he was just really good at it. Like he did everything he could to make sure that he felt like he was the Joker. But it's just strange how like so many people try to tack on from the previous stuff. And then it spirals out of control and then they have to try something new again.
I think I was listening to an interview with somebody and I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was Leto, but it was somebody about the Joker. Maybe it was Heath Ledger. But it was like I think he said something along the lines of like, you know, he was so nervous when he was preparing for the role because he just had in his head the whole time, don't be Nicholson, don't be Hamill. Like, you know, he's like do your own thing. Like I'm pretty sure it was Heath Ledger. And yeah, it's just, yeah, like I think that's why that one was such a success, because he actually went out of his way to be a different character, like be a different Joker. So yeah, look, I'm not gonna, obviously I feel like we can't really judge the new Joker yet, like we've only seen so little, like, but for what I've seen, I've definitely liked, because it to me portrays how, like, because even like if you see his hair, like it's like he's like butchered his hair with a fucking with like a fucking scissors or a knife or something, like, you know, he's just completely batshit crazy, like, and that's the Joker that I love, like, you know, that's the Joker I love reading about, and I want to see that on the big screen.
Yeah, I definitely love all of his prosthetics and stuff. I think the look is really cool and interesting. It's really hilarious how every iteration of the Joker, they're just like, no, more acid on the face. He was bigger, he was badder.
Yeah.
Each one of them just kind of looks more gruesome, and I think it looks great. I like that take on that. I just think that they need to not, you know, he just needs to be a little bit brighter. He needs to not be so sparsed out with his words. Like, he needs to be less weird in a sense. Like, he comes off as like weird for the sake of being weird. And it's just not my favorite. I'd rather something, you know, not that I want them to just like take Mark Hamill's performance, but I feel like Mark Hamill's performance and everything he's done from the animated series down to the Arkham series and stuff that's Joker. That's Joker from the comic books put on to the screen. And it's just, you know, he's not this weirdly tortured soul. Like, he's having fun the whole time. Like, you can tell he's having fun. And this Joker just looks like he's played more tortured.
Right. And, like, I completely agree with that, and I totally see that, Hoffman, because yeah, it's like he's weird, but everyone knows Joker is crazy. There's a difference. Like, you can be as weird as possible, but nobody's going to think you're crazy if you're just weird.
Yeah. Pinto just won't take a shot at anyone from Ireland. And I respect it. I really do.
That's
fine. Not genuinely no. I honestly, he could be this. Anyone could be portraying him here. Like, it's just the fact that he's an Irish person is just, it's a nice, it's a nice little bonus for me. But it's not. I'm not being biased here just because he's
I just saw the trailers for the Eternal. He's like, even in the trailer for the Eternals, he's like, he's the hero. He's the main character.
There's my boy right there.
To be fair, Druig was one of the better characters in that film. I thought he was great.
Oh man.
Yeah, so look, bit of a fail. I had a clip lined up, but I don't know where it's gone. Maybe it's been deleted or something. But I cannot. I cannot find it. I don't know what's going on. But basically, I'll tell you the quick story behind it. It's kind of a funny story about Spider-Man. So, I was listening to Tom Holland. He was talking on one of the talk shows or doing an interview for something. And basically, he was telling of a day that he was on set and he finished up. And I think someone asked him, do you ever have bad days on set or whatever, and he's like, look, for the most part, it's amazing, love being Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, there's some days where you're hanging upside down for like 8 hours a day and you're shooting all these scenes and CGI and all this stuff. And, it can be tough. And, sometimes I get in the car and I finish my day and, his little brother is usually on set with him. He's kind of like his assistant. And, his brother's like, what are you complaining for? Like, how could you be tired? You're Spider-Man, like, and all, and he's just like, bro, seriously, if you did a day on those wires for a day and everything, it's absolutely exhausting. So then it turns out that, and it's actually in that clip that I wanted to show you, but basically they reached out to Tom and they were like, do you want to put your brother in the movie? Do you want him to be in the film? And he was like, yeah, let him, like, because his brother is actually acting now. I think he's on a TV show, like a period piece TV show, like set in like the 1920s or something in England. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but so he is an actor. But Tom was like, yeah, let's put him in a scene. So they made up a scene where basically this kid gets robbed, or he's like, getting hijacked or something, like, or carjacked or something like that. And basically Tom comes in, swoops in to save the day. But the guy who's actually his brother is like, Tom was like, basically, yes, put him in the film, but we have to hang him upside down for his whole scene. So I don't know if he was like, if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but basically Spider-Man ends up like webbing him up and hanging him upside down, and he's just like swinging back and forth. And they were like, leave him up there as long as possible. Let's like, do another take. So it was him just basically just torturing his brother on screen. But the best part of the whole thing is they cut it from the movie.
I'd be so mad.
Yeah, so good, dude.
Can you imagine the royalties he would have gotten just from that one scene?
Yeah,
just like getting like $200 a month. You know what I mean? Like, oh, nice, nice.
Absolutely.
How dare he too? We all hate our jobs at some point. There's always days where we're like, this shit. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
Everyone has that feeling. Poor Tom Holland.
Yeah.
To look on the bright side, they save $200 a month.
I wonder, do you have to get like some sort of like a royalty if you're in like a deleted scene and it's like published on like a special features on a Blu-ray or whatever?
Ooh, I think so. Especially if you're like, because people are buying it,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, so I'd be curious to see, would he actually get some sort of a like a fee or a cutback from it in some point?
And I also think there's a rule. It's like you have to have like 3 lines of dialogue too, or something like that. Or there's something weird.
Yeah. Do you want to hear the Blade news now? Will we go into Blade?
Yeah,
let's go into Blade.
So, Blade, as I was saying at the start, Blade has been like the best kept secret from Feige. Like they've released nothing, but 2 little pieces of information that came out this week. Apparently, the Blade movie is going to be set in the MCU, obviously, in the 1920s.
What?
So apparently
1920s Blade.
So apparently it's 1920s/1930s, and it's maybe that's how, like maybe they're gonna go through the whole origin story of how he got turned or whatever. But yeah, what do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about the Fantastic Four, I think like the best I've talked about it before, the best way to do it is to do like a 1960s style thing and then bring them forward for the modern timeline, like they did Captain America. So I think them doing this with Blade is actually awesome. You know, we've already seen Blade, his origin story kind of sort of in from the Wesley Snipes movies, right? Like we've already seen what a 2000s Blade looks like. So why not just kind of throw that, you know, big curve and set it in the 1920s America, which is kind of Prohibition era, glitz and glamour. You know, it's all like is the Gilded Age for America, which is always fun to see on screen.
Yeah.
For me. So I think it's awesome, and I think it brings, you know, vampire stuff back down to it, where it's like, oh yeah, it's not going to be, you know, people with AR-15s just spraying off weapons. You know, you have very limited types of guns back then.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the idea.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. And then obviously there will be a jump to current times, because the second piece of information that came out is that apparently Kit Harington will be in the movie, and like so there'll be a team up between Black Knight and Blade, which kind of continues on from Eternals.
So are you saying like you Blade becomes like who he is, and then it like fast forwards to the modern times?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be obviously. I know he's half vampire, but I presume then he just doesn't age, or he ages at an extremely slow rate. So he will come forward and actually be in the live action version, or like the current timeline of the MCU. Just to answer Sandy's question in the chat there, Mahershala Ali is playing Blade.
But like once you look him up, you'll know who he is. Like he's been one of the, you know, most underrated actors over the past like 10 years. I think he should have way more roles.
It's got such great range.
Very excited.
And you know, one thing I think that's going to be cool about them bringing it back to the 1920s is something that Captain America did by going back to World War II. That's kind of looked over, is it allowed them to establish Hydra as this like entity that's been around for a while. So I'm sure if they're going back to the 1920s with Blade, they're going to establish some type of organization, some type of group that's kind of sitting around the 1920s and starts laying that groundwork for it to kind of surround the MCU as a whole for a while.
Yeah.
And like show us that, this has been around, but it's been like a secret society that you just haven't known about. It kind of lets them do stuff with it going forward, where it builds this history, builds this mythos for it, rather than just him Blade being in 2022 and be like, oh yeah, you don't know about the Dark Brotherhood? Like, it's just, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm pumped. Like that's some of the most exciting news I've heard, because I love when the MCU goes back in time like that. Love it. Everything that's happened in the MCU in the past has been amazing.
Yeah, I think they need to do the same thing with Wolverine as well, and I think they will. I think that's kind of the
of course
the rumor.
He should show up.
Yeah, that would be really cool if he just happens to run across like Wolverine for a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure like what the situation would be. Maybe they're just both at a bar at one point, because I believe that Blade since he's a daywalker, he can have both food and blood, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, like they could totally meet up at a bar at some point.
Smells his blood's different. He's just like, fuck off.
They just get really mad at each other.
Imagine you at one point you have a crossover in the past between Steve, Wolverine, and Blade. That'd be wild.
Oh my god!
Because
that'd be insane.
I've always thought, because I've spoke about this before, but that the intro to that Wolverine movie, the first, what was it called, the origin Wolverine movie, where he's just going through all the world wars and stuff. I'm like, imagine like if they did like in this version of it, where if they did something very similar, like had him starting off in the 1800s or whatever and kind of going through the wars and stuff, and then they somehow kind of work him into the first Avenger. Like, because you know they do this all the time. It's kind of one of the go-tos nearly for the MCU now at this stage, where it's like they're bringing characters back from like previous movies and stuff like that. So I would not be surprised if we're getting into like a Wolverine story that they drop him into World War II and they kind of just, you know, put him into a scene that we've already seen. And it's like, oh, he was there the whole time. You know, he was part of the crew that went into, or like maybe he was one of the captured. You know, when Cap goes in to save the squadron or whatever they're called, the platoon, and then basically just comes back with 100 men. It'd be cool if, like, you know, Logan sitting on one of the tanks or something. Like, I love that sort of shit, dude. Love it.
And like, I mean, I would love to see Wolverine in World War II in the MCU, because like the Canadian Special Forces are like legendary and did so much during World War II, and those stories really aren't explored in movies.
Yeah.
And so if they just did that for Wolverine, like, that'd be fucking awesome, man.
It would. Absolutely.
That, and the technology is so lessened. So like having Blade just like actually use normal contraptions, that's going to make things much more fun. Because like now he's got to figure out like how to traverse things normally rather than just use like a utility belt or anything.
Yeah. And, you know, that'd be interesting to see what Blade actually looks like when he doesn't have, like, his signature look is like a tactical vest, right? Like, what does he look like when he's not in a tactical vest? When he doesn't have a katana that he puts on, like, the middle of his back? Like, how does he get all this stuff? Like, I think that if that idea is true, that's one of the best things the MCU has come up with in a long time. And I can't wait to see it in 2026. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I mean, I just took a look at the early history of Eric Blade, which otherwise known as Eric Brooks. He was born on the 24th of October, 1922. So it sounds like it might have the same situation that you just mentioned, Finto, where it's just more so like an origin kind of situation, and then fast forward to the modern times.
Yeah.
But I mean, it still would be fun to see like through the decades.
Yeah.
You know, see what he's going through, and you know, of course, if they decide to do like through the decades, they're going to make it funny as well. Once they hit the 70s and the 80s, he's going to be wearing like, I don't know, some bell bottoms or something.
Big afro. Oh, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. I love that kind of like style of storytelling, where they kind of just like quickly kind of just jump into a decade, and then it's like, you know, 20 minutes later we're in another decade, and it's just kind of, you get to see a bit of everything, and it's always really good. Yeah, I think the world will definitely get the same for Wolverine, I think.
Did they say what part of the world or a part of America that Blade is born in?
I think he's actually born in England or something, wasn't he? Did I read that? Or
oh, really?
Let me see.
I actually think he's
English. He was born in Soho, London.
Yeah, he's from London, and then again that ties into why he would be in London at the end of Eternals. Like, it's where he's from, like, you know. So and I think as well, what'll be a very cool idea is if we're probably gonna see Blade interact with the Whitman family.
Yeah,
the previous Black
Knight, right?
Exactly, yeah. So then that's how he knows about the Ebony Blade and so on, and you know, it's all connected.
And even still, like, you know, the old Black Knights were villains, right? So like that could be the villain to the Blade story. The Black Knights were not always like the good guys and stuff. It's kind of Kit Harington's the role he's going to play, kind of decides to be the good guy. You know, Black Knight went up against the Avengers and stuff. So if they put Blade versus the Black Knight in the very beginning, and that's how this history and how he knows about the Ebony Blade and all that, that is even better. That is even better. Holy moly!
I think we're on to a winner, boys.
Can I share a photo of one of the original costumes for Blade?
Please.
Oh, please. There's nothing more that I love in like embarrassing old Marvel stuff when we act like they're geniuses. And like they were, right? But it's still like
Look at those quads though. Holy. Yeah.
Oh, those are some riding pants right there.
Man didn't skip leg day anyway. Holy shit. That's cool,
it's
dude.
Crazy.
It kind of looks like the old like Luke Cage. Have you ever seen the original like drawings for Luke Cage and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of get a Luke Cage vibe off. That's cool, man. I like that.
Look at these colors.
It's cool.
Yeah, they really like to be very colorful back then.
Yeah, they got to make them jump out on the page like as well. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Very funny.
Steak in one hand, steak in the bandolier, and just ready to go.
Starving.
He looks like a skydiver or a pilot, says Mizuki in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up with the goggles?
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
It's to skydive with.
He doesn't get blood in his eyes. Yeah, he's like, oh, it hurts. Put goggles on. The hell is this?
Love it.
I'm just joking. These designs are awesome, but I feel like Marvel and everyone, they get a little bit too much credit, you know? Like we gloss over how weird it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, it was definitely more campy back then. Like they just wanted things to like pop out, be stylish and whatnot. Nowadays, like especially since we recently watched or read Moon Knight, issue 1, you see it's like dark, brooding. It's all like it's very monotone colors too, especially when you see Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like just to obviously, next week in the podcast we'll be reviewing episode 1 of Moon Knight. Or is it 2? Is there a double bill? I don't even know. I actually don't know if they're releasing 2 at a go or if it's just the first episode, but very excited. It's on Wednesday. So obviously the next episode of the podcast, hopefully everyone will have had time to watch it and we can kind of just fully nerd out on it. Like it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Mm-hmm. So like the most of the focus of next week's podcast will be Moon Knight, which I'm excited for because we haven't had any new Marvel content in a while, and that was the purpose of us starting this podcast, was just to geek out about all the new Marvel content as quick as we possibly could. So I'm very excited to get back to basics here.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did 2 episodes because we got March. Oh no, man, we got a whole month before Kenobi. It's coming out in May.
Yeah.
Skipping over April, I was gonna say, are they gonna run it like right up into Kenobi, or are they gonna try to give some breathing room? We got a whole month.
It's 6 episodes, so I don't know if it's gonna be 6 weeks or if it's gonna be like a double bill to begin with, and then it's 5. I don't know if any. Yeah. Because I know some of the. Did Boba Fett do 2 episodes at once? I can't remember. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. One of the show. One show that we watched, I think, did a double bill to begin with. I can't remember what it was.
It was Loki.
Did.
Was it Wanda?
No, was it Wanda?
Wanda did do 2 episodes because they were like real short portions.
Yeah. I don't think it's really the style of Disney to kind of pack in. Like, because I know when HBO are releasing stuff, they put out the first 3 as a kind of like jumbo release at the start, just to get people hooked, I suppose. It's a good idea. Like, especially if you're doing like 10 episodes, you can kind of afford to do that. Like, whereas I don't know if I would want to see 2 episodes of this if it's only running for 6 weeks,
Well, these are Beefy Boy episodes. You hate it all?
Yeah, I just want binge stuff. Just release the whole season. I want to watch all of it. Like,
yeah.
I think a lot of these series, the reason that I don't like them as much as I did like older Netflix shows and stuff is because they're releasing them like a piece at a time, and like I want the full story. Like I want to watch 6. Give me a Saturday and I'll watch 6 hours of this. Get the full story all at once.
Yeah.
Like that's how I'd rather experience it rather than having a bad episode of Boba Fett and just being pissed off about it for a week and it kind of takes the rest of the show. Like the series, like
what you were saying makes 100% sense, and I agree. But at the same time, I think to myself that it's like yourself, like when you watch, like if you sit down and watch 6 episodes of a show in like 2 sittings, and then that's it's over. Like you have to wait a year for the next season. So it's like it's I agree with everything you're saying, and like when a season gets released, I love watching like 4 episodes in a row and getting properly into it. But at the same time, I do like having something to look forward to every week and spreading the content out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like
that.
I like both. I like having both, but especially for Marvel, I think the way that they're doing it is right. Like if you think about it, if we saw Spider-Man in December, and then they release a show, but they release it in one go, and then it's like, okay, like what would we have after Moon Knight? We have to wait till like July for She-Hulk or something next.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in terms of the podcast, it's nice, but outside of that, I didn't mind waiting. I'd rather just watch the whole series because sometimes now I feel like I'm behind on so many shows, like that if I could have just watched the whole season of one thing in a weekend when it first came out, then the next week I can get on to the next show. As it is right now, I'm just kind of like, well, I got like 4 shows I want to watch, but I feel like I'm so far behind that I'm just living back in 2000. Again, I want that binge-worthy show so I can tackle it all, and then go rewatch it the next weekend to get another appreciation for it. And I don't want to go back and watch The Mandalorian or Boba Fett. And I think if they would have been all dropped at once, I think I probably would have rewatched them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I know, like when I watch a show that ends very quickly, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, I have to wait a year to see the next episode. Like, and it's rough, like and like Mizuki talk about Stranger Things, like that's definitely one of the shows that like you just power through them when they come out. Like, it's so easy to watch, and like,
Does this look terrible?
First season was incredible. Second season was not as good, but kind of going down. And season 3 was definitely the worst season. So they're going the wrong way. But this
that first season was magic, bro. Magic.
Oh my god, the whole first season was just incredible. Like, it just felt like an 80s movie, and it was just amazing. But yeah, it has been steadily getting worse. But I'm hoping that it turns around now with this 4th season. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so long between those 2 shows that those 2 seasons that now, I don't know if you saw, they released a bunch of kids, or a bunch of pictures of the kids like this week, and they're all grown up now. Like, it's crazy. They're not kids.
Certain families,
it's nuts.
things for.
They're not kids anymore, man. Like, they're in their 20s now or something. It's fucking ridiculous.
Following the same form as It.
Yeah.
So they did part 1 as kids, part 2 as adults.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
But regarding the Moon Knight episode release dates and times, it's going to be 1 episode a week. But they're going to be big boys. They're going to be about 45 to 50 minutes long.
Nice.
Good. They need to be. I can't stand when we only get like 6 or 7 episodes of a show, and it's like they have the balls to put out like a 26-minute episode. Like, I'm just like, are you fucking for real?
I love it.
Well, in addition to that, Finto, do you see the balls on Marvel just constantly throwing out all these different featurettes and clips and such? And all I wanted to do was watch like one little sit down that they had of like them just talking about it. And the moment I started, they show a clip of the show, and I'm like, stop! Like, I just want to watch it when it pops out. I just want them to talk about it beforehand and not show anything else.
Oh man, we talked about this last week, but like, even now, since we've spoken last, I think there's been officially put out like maybe 3 or 4 more videos about Moon Knight with like random 1-minute clips here and there. And I'm just like, I can't watch this stuff, like, because it's just like, you put together all of that content, you've probably seen half of the first episode now,
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Leave a little something to the imagination.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say we'll move on to Star Wars news, but actually I do have one more thing about, it's kind of Marvel related, I suppose. Rumor has it that the first trailer for Avatar 2 is going to be playing right before Doctor Strange 2. So they're
I
actually...
can't wait to
Weird.
make fun of that.
Yeah. That's just, James Cameron's been working on that movie for like 10 years or something like that. Like, so it would want to be amazing.
Yeah.
So have there ever been any movies from James Cameron that didn't take like decades?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that were sequels,
right?
Was Terminator?
Terminator came out pretty quickly. Like Terminator 2 came out pretty quickly after Terminator 1.
Okay.
Like maybe 5 years, I think, wasn't it? I think Terminator 2 was like 92, and I think the first one was like 87 or something, or 84, was it?
Was
actually,
it? Oh.
Yeah, I think there actually was a good bit between them, actually. I think it was 84.
Gotta check that out.
Avatar's terrible. It just ripped off Pocahontas. True.
Wow.
It was nuts. I remember reading a script,
The comparisons.
showing like in comparisons, and showing like all they did was swap the names.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's like I've seen a lot of the comparisons between Star Wars and Harry Potter going around at the moment. There's a lot of people milking that on TikTok at the minute, like, and it's so true though. Like, it's Harry Potter is basically Star Wars.
Oh, a boy who went to live with his uncle?
Yeah.
After his father is killed?
Exactly.
God.
And then the guy who dropped him off picks him up and teaches him the ways of the wizardry and all.
Yep. J.K. Rowling's a hack, all right?
That's so funny.
It's got
And then
2
she
other companions.
Yeah. And then she steals like the best line. It's like, the Force will be with you, always. And then Snape's like, always. I'm like, get out of here. Okay, that's Yoda. Get the fuck out of here, Snape.
Bit of Star Wars news. So I think myself and Hoffman were kind of talking about this during the week, but Galaxy's Edge released a Cal Kestis lightsaber. And the actor, I can't think of his name, I apologize, but he was actually there for like the unveiling of it or whatever. And just before we went live, I popped open YouTube and I got recommended a box opening video of the lightsaber. It looks pretty cool. It's not something I'd buy. Like, it looks very big and clunky and stuff, but it's fucking cool that it's been released. And
That's his lightsaber. big and clunky, baby. Like it
I
comes
know,
from his
but-
master. It was huge.
True. But do we think that the release of this, because the timing of this release is very suspicious, I think. Like, it's like, why are they bringing this out now? I really think Cal could be in Kenobi.
I think he could too, because they call them legacy lightsabers at Disney, right? And it's all like the characters. They have all the big ones. Like they even have Leia's, they have Ahsoka's, and they've never really done anybody who wasn't in the movies or the TV shows.
Yeah.
Being gamers, we love this character. We know who he is. So, like, we know how cool that is, what his lightsaber is. But for them to release that at like one of the parks inside of their main merchandise and it be a video game seems like he's coming.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. And also, there's characters from the game. I can't remember what they're called, but I think they're like they kind of look like the Inquisitors, but they're kind of droids, or not droids, like stormtroopers. They have a name, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But they appeared in the game, and I think some people have said that there's been some kind of rumors that they could appear in Kenobi as well. So that's kind of another link between Cal's kind of timeline and story and the Kenobi time, because they're very close. Like, I think there's only like 2 years or something like that between the events of the game and where we're going to be in Kenobi. So, yeah, I at this point, I think I'd be surprised if Cal didn't show up in the show.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Especially, like, they're promoting it all over the social media. They brought him as an actor in for it.
Yeah.
Like, he seems locked in for this. And, man, because I'm about to go pick up that lightsaber, bro. Like,
It's cool. Do you know what you can do as well? I don't know how much they are, but you can buy 2 of them, and you can actually join them to make a double blade. So,
no.
Like, yeah, dude. There's a bit at the very end. The bit that's like frayed and burned away.
Yeah.
You could screw it off, and then you could screw a second one in and turn it into a double blade.
Jesus.
So
I
if
think
they're not
running about $250.
okay, so yeah, that's like, it's expensive enough, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, but the big question is though, is like, who's going to play Cal?
I'll play Cal.
The actor who played him in the
hop
game.
In this Cal? What? They're not going to do that.
Oh, why
Since when do you?
they?
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
since well, then what happened to Nolan North and Uncharted?
Well, that's different because
How is that different? He looks just like the character.
Nolan's old now.
Well, not
You
just,
can play.
yes, but this character is, does Nolan North look like Nathan Drake that much? Like, this was literally modeled off of the actor. Like, they did his
It is
facial
him.
scans.
He did
Like,
he acted all the lines and everything. So
Yeah,
it is
like
him.
he wasn't.
He's a bona fide actor. I think it's very different to Nolan North. Nolan North is a voice actor first. He has he has done live action acting before, but he is a voice actor primarily. So for him, I would say no. But I would be very curious, because I know that they were trying to make that Uncharted movie for about 10 years before they actually started it. So, because I know originally they were saying that Mark Wahlberg was going to play the younger version of Drake, and then by the time that they got around to making the movie, he was too old, so they cast him as Sully instead. So, like, I'd be curious, back when they were doing the original talks with Mark Wahlberg originally, was Nolan North even an option then? Because I'd say, like, Nathan Fillion and, like, Nolan North would probably be up there for actually acting in it, like,
And, like, this is different. This is like Lucas and Disney. Like, they want to do something different, and having them have a character from a video game cross over into their universe is something that I don't think's been done before in cinema and entertainment. And I think they would love to be like I think they would love to be that company that does that.
Yeah, and like the Star Wars kind of timeline, it's very kind of like MCU. It would be weird if they brought Cal in and he was only like 2 years older and they had a completely different actor play him. It's not something that Star Wars would do.
Yeah. I can't believe you can put those blades together, bro.
Yeah. I'll send you the video that I was watching, and you can see it. It was fucking cool as fuck, dude. It's really, really cool.
And did you see that, or did you hear it? Like, when you actually flick it on, they got the right sound from the game. Like, it sounds heavy.
Yeah,
Like that is just, woo.
yeah,
I'm in.
yeah. Absolutely. Whew.
Yeah, I just it's just crazy like how good Disney does with these lightsabers. Like I know they're not like the best lightsabers in terms of quality you can buy on the market, right? But they do it right, man. Like when you go there and you see them all in person, it's impressive. It is impressive.
I've seen comparisons from some of them, like maybe the earlier ones that they released, compared to an actual, like, the ones that I own, like they're like proper like movie replicas, like 1-for-1 scale. And I've seen Anakin's one beside like a Disney Anakin one, and like the size difference is actually kind of crazy. Like the one that Disney are making is way bigger, so it's not actually like, it looks good if you were to hold it and not know what the real one looks like, if you know what I mean. But when you see the two of them side by side, it actually is a little shocking. I think it was a video that Star Wars Theory put out. He had the actual official one. I think it was Sidious's lightsaber. He had the one that like Hasbro or whatever they're called brought out. And then he had the official one made, which was a 1-on-1, and the difference is actually crazy. The size difference is nuts.
So I'd be interested to see that, because I got that, because I bought a Obi-Wan and a Luke one.
Yeah.
For my brothers, for Christmas for my brothers.
Nice.
And then I got my own one that I built, and the one I built is like it's heavy as hell, bro. Like it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like it's so unbalanced that you can't even like have that much fun playing around with it, because like you can't get any swings going on. It's so heavy. It's ridiculous.
They're not battle ready at all.
Like if it's about as heavy as a real sword, but without the blade on top, right? Like it's just a tube on top of nothing, so it's just so like weird.
Yeah, for sure.
See, it's weird that like I've never purchased a lightsaber before. I've never created one or anything, but I guess I've never been more like much of a prop kind of guy. I'm a huge statue fan, so like when it comes to statues of different characters from movies or video games, that's what I look for. That's what I love to see. And like for the longest time when I was younger, I really wanted the statue of like Darth Malak and Darth Revan, like because it's just these iconic characters from the Old Republic standing side by side, showing off a pose. One's holding their Sith lightsaber, the other one's doing like a Force choke, and it looks like beautiful. And like I said, I've never been a prop person, so like I never thought to hold a lightsaber, swing it around or anything. I just like to look at things. So I think it's really cool that like maybe one of these days when I actually go to Galaxy's Edge, maybe I'll try it. I'll check out the experience and see if I love it.
Yeah, they'll let you try all of them too. Like they got people behind the counter. You can just pick them up, mess around with them, no problem. It's just tons of fun for me, man. Like I love doing it. And building the lightsaber, I think it costs you about $250. I'm not sure the exact price because my girlfriend bought it for me, because she knows how much of a dork I am. And they actually like take you to a room with like 10 other people, and like they do this whole like story. It's kind of cringy a little bit, but you like pick every different piece. There's a guy in there who's talking about the Force and stuff, and then like the lights go down. And stuff. Yeah, like Yoda's voice comes on. And then like you all light them up together. It's kind of it's goofy, but it's fun.
Yeah, I would love to experience it, and I think like as we've said before, like for me to get over there is like it's my family holiday that year, like sort of thing, like so I think if I was going, I would have to probably pick up a lightsaber just to have something to remember it by, but I would like if you're in like if you're trying to collect lightsabers, I would always kind of recommend getting them custom made, just because the detail that goes into them, and I know they're expensive, but like the detail that goes into them is absolutely crazy. Like the one that the new one that I have, the Luke one from Mando, is just insane. Like it's fucking incredible to hold. Like incredible. Like it's everything I dreamt of when I was a kid. Like I was like, I always wanted a real lightsaber, and like we used to fucking beat the shit out of each other with sticks, like pretending that they were lightsabers when we were kids, And like I always said, like I'd love to build one myself or something, or get like a proper movie replica one. Like, and just the fact that I have the two most famous lightsabers in Star Wars now, it's just it's incredible.
I just love the fact that like there was a previous podcast episode where it was almost like he had a secret stash, and you're like, hold on, I'll be right back, and then you're like, just gotta do it real quick because you don't want to wake up the kid.
Yeah. They're so loud, bro. They're so loud. I could not, like, I wouldn't be able to turn one of them on now because I would wake the whole house up. Like, that's how loud they are. It's fucking ridiculous. And they're actually hanging on a shelf, like in the back of the room there. You can't see because it's dark, but yeah, like I'm looking forward to getting a stream room set up and I can actually properly display all my cool shit. Like, and you'll be able to see it behind me. Like, you know, that's what I'm really looking forward to. It's just gonna, I'm gonna have like my Spider-Man helmet. I've got the Flash helmet from the Snyder Cut like version of like Ezra's Flash, and then like my lightsabers and shit like that, and all my comics and a couple of pop figures and shit like that. I can't wait to put it on display.
Okay. All right, so we need a petition for you to get a green screen and then do a lightsaber battle solo, like shadow lightsaber solo battle.
Never.
I want to see that.
Never. Yeah. Should we talk about Halo?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Halo. So,
Can I just
go. You start.
let me just preface this by saying, can everyone on the internet stop having the takes that everyone else just doesn't get it? Can you stop doing that? Like, we all get it. It's a different universe. And it's not the same. We're like, you guys just don't understand.
Sorry, guys. I think I'm losing you for a second here. Discord, hello? I think my Discord crashed. Chat, can you guys still hear me? I'm not sure. I appear to be streaming. I'm live.
I should got it.
Guys, apologies. The Discord kind of shit itself for a minute there. I think my stream stayed up.
Are we back?
Yeah, you guys are back now.
We're back?
Yeah. That was really strange. Sorry, Hoffman just started sounding like a robot there for a second, and then the both of you froze. And I'm bringing up like my stats in OBS, and I'm like, I'm still live. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So, I think Discord had a bit of a nightmare there. Hopefully,
AWS servers, baby, everything's going down.
Hopefully it stabilizes. Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat what you were saying there. I'm sorry, dude.
Where was I?
You're still a bit spotty, guys. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave the call and come back.
Okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second, just because I just want to restart Discord. Hopefully that'll fix it. 1 second. Fucking Discord, eh? During this little intermission, guys, I'd just like to say, please make sure you follow us on all the social media. Hit us up on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We have a couple of shorts up on YouTube that are actually doing really well this week. Big shout out to Hoffman for doing all that for us.
I don't know.
Hello.
They got to get their money. Hey.
Hello there.
I just wanted to give it a full restart, and it seems to have fixed it.
General Kenobi.
Okay, let's go.
You guys trying to hit people with hello there in public all the time?
Yes.
I'm starting to say it when I'm playing Elden Ring.
Bro, I hit people with hello there's all the time just to see if I can't get a call back.
I love it. Love it.
I'll be at Taco Bell like, hello there.
Sorry, Hoffman, take 3, please. Start again. Tell us about this shit show that is Halo.
All right, the biggest thing that is getting me right now is all these people on Twitter who have these takes that's like the rest of us just don't understand what they're trying to do with the show. And I just want them to know we get it. We understand that this show is different. It's supposed to be the Silver Universe. It's a different way of telling Halo. It doesn't mean that it's not a pile of crap, because this thing is terrible. All right, so I'm gonna table that idea real quick and just let them know, like, I don't know what these companies are doing where they take these gaming franchises. I know they want to tell their own stories. I know they want to do their own thing. They got very creative people who have ideas that they want to share too. Stop taking like franchises and just using them to bring in gamers, and then being mad when the gamers are like, what'd you do to the franchise? This isn't it. Like, these aren't the characters. These aren't the stories. Like, this is all terrible. I cannot stand how bad this show is. And from what I hear it's only going to get worse. Mm-hmm. And my biggest shock was how the hell do the first person scenes in this show look worse than the video games? Like, they do camera things where they put you in first person. I'm like, this looks worse than fucking Halo 3, dude. This looks terrible. What the hell is happening? Like, just oh my god, man.
I kind of like, I enjoyed some parts of it, and I thought some parts of it were visually stunning as well. But then there was some parts that just weren't at all. Like, and I think you spoke about this previously on one of your streams during the week, Hoffman. But basically, I think it was when he throws down the gun, and it's a CGI gun, and it looked fake as fuck, just sliding across the floor. And I kind of like, I was like, oh my god, what the hell was that? And then I remembered you talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, they had like CGI to gun in. And
2005, bro, like, it's so bad.
Yeah, oh my god. It was just crazy. I did like some of the first person stuff. I thought it was kind of cool, and like the sound effects from the game, like when his shield goes down and it was regenning. Like, I was just like, oh, I've heard that so many times, you know. Like,
he like gets behind cover and lets it regen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was just like, this is that to me was cool. Those were the cool parts.
Yeah.
And Alex, bit of a spoiler for you, but at the end of the episode, he takes off his fucking helmet. And
what?
Not even the end.
Yeah, like, sorry, not the end, but like for the last, say, 10 minutes, he does like 2 or 3 full scenes with no fucking helmet on. And I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe they've done this. Like, you know, if they wanted to do it at the end of season 1 or something, fair enough. But like, you know, this was just like 10 minutes of this episode. It was like, him without the helmet on. Like, it was just ridiculous.
Do they not understand the legend?
Exactly.
Like, no, he doesn't take the helmet off.
Exactly. And like they even say it in the show. Like, he's talking in the show, and he's like, your one's like, oh, do you not take your helmet off ever? And he's like, oh, you know, I leave it on because I've got, you know, it links to all my diagnostics and all this stuff like that. And then like 5 minutes later, he takes it off.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
and
bro.
They just do it with like such disregard, you know.
Yeah.
Throughout the games, like, you had to wait 20 years before you even got a glimpse of his head, and you only got it if you completed the game on Legendary, right? That's the only way you got to see a snippet of his face.
Yeah.
So I get that they want to do this where they show his face for story moments, or like they wanted to have a scene where he showed his face to build trust with somebody. Why not just put him underneath a shadow or something to still mask his face to us audience, but like still let the other person see it? I get it.
Yeah.
And then like the next scene, they are entering one of the most dangerous situations. And he would absolutely put his helmet back on in these dangerous situations, and he still leaves it off.
Yeah.
It's just, it's blatant. And if that's the beginning of the series, who knows how much of the series is going to leave it off for.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, like, it's these actors, and I get it. I totally get it. You want your face to be seen on the show. You want to be recognized as, that's the actor who's doing this character. Mm-hmm. But it when you're not paying attention to how things are in the actual game, and you're not trying to at least, you know, portray it as close as possible, it starts to fall apart. And that's what happens. Like, that's why sometimes we get a little upset when we see, you know, Tom Holland pulling off his mask like 20 times and then not understanding why he gets found out as Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, they brought back the actress for Cortana to use her in this thing. Like, that is the actual actress who played Cortana in the original Halo, and what the look is based off of. So why not just bring back the voice actor for Master Chief and have him just be helmeted the whole time?
Yeah.
Because this guy's voice does not sound like Master Chief. And it's not that, you know, you can't match a voice or whatever. Like, because he's a different person. But like the gravitas' voice, he doesn't have that Master Chief feel. Like, you don't have to sound the same, but you have to like instill something in people when you talk to him. Like, because Master Chief is a very monotone character, but his voice has such boom to it or whatever, and his dialogue is so good that it works. But in this is terrible. I don't like the actor they casted for him in terms of his voice. And it's just it's weird. And they're not to say there aren't good points of this, because there are. Like Victor says, I would say like the first 20 minutes of the show, I actually really enjoyed. I thought it was crazy when there's so much gore in this thing, and like it's gruesome.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat, they're like murdering people and like murking. I'm like, oh my god, like this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then we get off the planet where they start the thing, right? And it's just it gets off the rails. It's so terrible.
Some of the acting in it is so poor as well. Like, it's really really bad. So yeah, like it's a tough one. I don't like. Do you want to keep watching it, Hoff? Are you gonna watch it?
I'm gonna give it one more episode.
Okay, that's right.
I'm gonna watch episode 2.
Yeah.
I hear it's not great.
Yeah.
But honestly, for the amount of money they spent on this thing, like they could have just put like $200 million in a swimming pool, lit it on fire, and I think I would have enjoyed it more. Like just watching that on Paramount Plus, because like this thing is so uninteresting. The story's so just boring. You know, they're doing this whole thing where it's like Master Chief is already questioning the USNC. And it's like that should be a season 2 or end of the season thing. Why are we doing that right off the jump? It means nothing to us. It means nothing to us.
Yeah, I think they've taken away the magic of Master Chief straight away by taking that helmet off. Like it's like I actually like the actor. I was a big fan of him in like American Gods and stuff. I thought he was brilliant in that, and I just think that in any just the fact that they've taken that helmet off in the first episode just humanizes the Chief so much now that like I kind of just don't care anymore already. Like, you know, it's just not special anymore. Like the first scene when we see him, he jumps out of his ship and falls like 100 feet and just lands cool superhero landing, just starts shooting the shit out of everybody. And you're just like, wow, this guy's amazing. But now I know who he is. And it's like not as special to me or something. Even though I like the actor, it's just not as special. Like,
well, I mean, even if you think about Mandalorian, like even though he took his helmet off and then put it back on, I really don't remember exactly what he looks like because he always keeps it on now.
Yeah,
I know it's Pablo. What's his name? I can't remember.
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
Why did I say Pablo? Yeah, Pedro Pascal, like, but even then, like, he keeps the helmet on long enough for us to not remember exactly what he looks like throughout the series. So that when he does take it off again, it's like, oh crap, he hasn't done this in a while. And it's exciting. But when you start off from the first episode.
Yeah,
it was straight away, dude. I couldn't believe it.
The writing is just so terrible. Like, literally in the first scene, there's the humans who are like kind of like rebellious humans, whatever. They're separatists, insurrectionists, and they're getting attacked by the Covenant. Which one, the elites look so thick in this. I don't understand why the elites are so fat. And then 2, the humans are shooting the Covenant and the elites with the Warthog gun, like the machine gun, like the and it does nothing to them.
Yeah,
it does nothing to them. But guess what? The Master Chief picks it up. And he just murders all the elites with the same machine gun that the humans were using and doing no damage to the elites. Like, it just makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It's terrible writing. It's the writing that like I don't know how they get hired. I'm gonna start submitting scripts. I'm gonna start setting off scripts because this shit is so dumb.
Yeah.
That this even gets through. Like, I don't know who's directing, who's producing. It's the dumbest, like, most disrespectful. Like, you're just dumb gamers. Put some popcorn in your mouth and shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, it's bad, bro. I cannot stand this Halo series.
Yeah, and like even like I know that their guns are probably like stronger than the guns that the humans were using on that planet or whatever, but like, you know, Chief's coming in and like popping aliens' heads off with a little handgun. And it's like these guys are shooting the humans are shooting like chain guns at it, and they're not even like bouncing off they're not even penetrating their shields. Like, well, it's crazy.
That's the thing. Chief picks up the exact weapon that the human was using. Like, it's just like, what? It's the same weapon.
I know, dude.
What are we doing?
Yeah, crazy.
And then like there's another part. There's like a ship over top, and one of the Spartans like, Chief, there's a Covenant Phantom. It's like, yeah, no shit. It's right there. It's right above us. You don't have to tell Chief it's right there. We know. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
When Master Chief's not in the room, everyone needs to look around and say, "Where's Master Chief?"
Where's Chief at, man?
We need our hero. We need the person that's actually going to be able to hit people.
I thought a couple of the other Spartans were pretty cool. They were pretty badass as well. Like it was cool. And your one, I can't think of her name. She was in Californication. She played like David Duchovny's love interest in it. She's in it. She's the kind of,
I forget her name, but she plays Halsey.
Yeah. So that, I don't know. I think like she is a good actress, but she didn't come across very good in this, and I don't think that that's her fault. You know, I think that's just what she's been like, what she's working with, like the direction and the script and so on.
Yeah.
But like, you know, yeah, it just when you're watching a show and you like know someone is good from like seeing them perform well in something else, it kind of just shines bright that it's just not good TV. Like, you know, like the fact that like you know someone is a talented actress, but they're coming across like a piece of shit in the show. Like, you know,
I agree.
No amount of acting can fix a script that's shit.
Yeah, exactly. And if you've got directors that don't know what they're doing and they can't make good stuff, they're not going to be able to direct the actors properly because the actors rely on directing. You know, they're told what to do. Like, you know, this is like the kind of famous like story of like Hayden Christensen. Like, you know, he got so much shit for Revenge of the Sith, but it was like that he just did what he was told. This is what George wanted. You know, they wanted him to be monotone and like, you know, it eases the kind of transformation into Vader or whatever, because like, you know, it's like he kind of was monotone himself, but like it's not like Hayden's acting. Like that was just the way that he was, just did what he was told. He was just directed that way.
Yeah. And really puts into light when you hear about all these actors who like fly off the rail on the set and like the director and stuff. You're like, yeah, no wonder. Like their whole career is riding on this director not giving them a bad performance, right?
Yeah.
And like maybe that's the thing where it's like Hayden Christensen, if he would have been a more seasoned actor, he'd have been like, no, George, I'm not doing that. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But he couldn't.
Yeah. Question in the chat there, who would be your fan cast for Chief?
No
don't
one.
even know.
Yeah.
No one.
Just make him a voice.
Yeah. Just put the helmet on and do the voice. I'm in.
Yeah.
Make him 7 feet tall and don't take that helmet off.
He is big in the show. But yeah, no, they should have never taken the helmet off. I think you're dead right. Like, you know, they should have just got the voice actor from the games and just kept a big, massive dude in the suit, and that would have been it.
Yeah, it would have been
a winner. Yeah,
it would have been. And you know, it's like, how do they not know that people were not going to have a problem with that? Like, how do they not know? And there's all these articles out there saying that they really didn't play the games. They more so just talked to Bungie or 343 about characters. They didn't really talk about stories. Yeah. They just talked about characters. And like, that seems fucking wildly incorrect because Master Chief doesn't seem like Master Chief. You know, they got Captain or Commander Keyes. Like, I don't know if he's captain right now. Keyes and his daughter, and they don't feel anything like the games. And maybe they'll change, but like Keyes is somebody who like does the right thing no matter what, right? Like he's going to do that. And his daughter is in the similar vein. And like his daughter is this confident military woman. And then you go see this character that's playing the daughter and she's, you know, hesitant. She's insecure and doesn't, you know, it's wild. It's so weird that they talk about how they only focus on the characters and they don't seem anything like the characters from the games.
And all they wanted to do was just pay for that franchise to put it on screen.
Yep.
And that was it. Like they're like, we have a cast that we could probably pay a decent amount of money. We just want to see if we could tell the story the way we want to tell it and not care at all about the franchise.
100%. And you know, there's a human who's with the Covenant, who knows what they're using her for. I don't know if she's like the leader of the Covenant, if she's just being manipulated by the Covenant. We'll see how that goes.
She's an Irish actress as well. They're popping up everywhere, bro. We're taking over.
Well, we found Finta's favorite character. I can't wait to see what she does in the upcoming weeks. She's gonna. And I'm just. It's so weird to me seeing the human character there with the Covenant.
Yeah.
You know, I know that there are theories on what she could be doing because the Covenant need humans to open up the halos and stuff. but you know, they haven't established that, and humans are like blasphemous to be near the covenant. So
Yeah.
I just
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they don't know what they're doing whatsoever. It's another gaming franchise that these studios in Hollywood have taken, not knowing what to do with, give it to people who aren't even good at their job. Like, it'd be one thing if they just changed it up and told their own story, but it's fantastic. But it's not. It's just terrible. It's terrible on its own right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think I'll give like the next episode a go. And from what I have heard, I've heard the same thing as you. Like, the first episode was meant to be kind of start off well, but kind of end pretty badly. And then episode 2 is just meant to be a fucking dumpster fire. Like, so
Yeah. I heard it's a filler.
Yeah.
Like a filler episode. Episode 2.
Oh my God. Yeah. Brand new show.
Well,
Like, let's throw it a bit of filler straight away.
Right. Well, it's a good thing that I got the trial ready to go. So I'm gonna watch it, and then I'll ask you guys if you're gonna keep watching it, and if you say no, I'm canceling the subscription.
How much is the subscription?
It's like $10 a month, but I have the free the free week.
Yeah.
So like,
Have you started it already?
the show, no, not yet.
No, the free trial.
Yes, just as of now.
Just okay. So yeah, you've got 7 days, so you'll actually get the first 2 episodes in. Oh, that's funny.
I'll make sure to contact you both on Thursday.
Yeah.
And make sure.
Yeah, we're canceling it, guys. We're canceling it. I really don't have any. I really don't have any high hopes for it now, to be honest. But hey, look, if we want to keep talking about it, and I don't mind watching it for the cast. Like, it doesn't bother me. But I'm definitely not like enjoying it. Like, it's not good TV. Mm-hmm. And like, nowadays, TV is so strong that you can't be putting shit out anymore. Like, you really can't. Like, the TV bar is so fucking high now. You can't be putting out shit like this. This felt when I was watching this, it felt like something that was made in the 90s. You know, like a TV show. Like, the amount of like stuff, and it was great when you were young watching it, but the amount of shit TV in the 90s, like in early 2000s, like, it was just awful. Just for the sake of being made, just to fill a time slot on a TV schedule. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And this feels like that.
Mm-hmm. And again, it comes down to the story. Like, these graphics aren't good, but if they were telling a good story, you'd be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sold. I'm already into the story. This is fine. This is all working. But it's not. It is a pile of shit. I don't know your experience with watching it, but maybe Paramount's like their servers are just overloaded. But the compression was terrible. Like, I could not get a good viewing of this thing at all. Like, it just looked like ass the entire time I was watching it.
Mine looked great, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Now, again, I'm not watching it through the Paramount Player or anything, so I had like a copy of the film in 1080p, and it looked great. It looked great on my TV. It really did. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, for the most part, the show looked pretty good. But yeah, it just didn't hit in the right places. My girlfriend actually laughed, you know, when they showed the intro, like the suit like being formed onto him, like the intro for the show. She just turned to me and laughed, and she just goes, "How could they make the intro look cool, but like the CGI in the show itself is shit?"
I think that, you know, there it's a whole nother studio that does intros, and those intro studios, man, they know what they're doing, bro.
Yeah, because the intro is very cool.
And
like, I think I don't need all the like. I think you do like a couple of shots. Like, they did one cool kind of camera shot where the camera came around the side of the Chief's face, and then it went like into the helmet. I thought that was cool. But like, I don't need to see it switching into first person and like me pretending like I'm in the video game. I don't need to, like, show me once, fine, do it well, great, done. You know, don't need to see it again. But like, they kept switching back to the first person. I just thought it was a little overdone. And it got old fast. I did like the laser swords though. I thought they were cool.
Oh yeah, bro! When he puts it through the door.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
When the Anakin's.
Yeah, Jesus, dude, that was rough. And like, you know, when the kids that are out in the woods, when they first like come into contact with them and they're running away, you see one of the girls, like, she gets shot and one of her legs flies off and all. I was like, holy shit! I was like, this is vicious.
That's why I was like excited. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. And then we get away from that scene, and it's just. It's like it started when her dad came running to save her. That's like when it went off the rails. I'm like, what? Like, what are we doing? How would the Spartans not know there's one elite left? Like, they would absolutely know. Like, they got. Like, what is this? Legendary mode? They don't got a mini map? I like, come on now.
I actually did. Did you notice that there was one of the scenes where he was on the when Chief was on his ship with the one survivor, and you saw it did a couple of pans into the internal, like the first person view, and you could see the little mini map, and she was the little dot on the mini map. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that. I also love, there's a slight gaming callback where on the human thing they were like asking for Commander Shepard on like the PA system, right? So it's like Mass Effect. It's like, boop, Commander Shepard. I love that. And honestly, the elites look like the Rex character from Mass Effect, if I'm thinking about it. But the another big thing that I thought was an absolute L for the entire series is we have Halo, which is this like masterpiece of music. Like the Halo music is so recognizable, and there's so many good tracks from it.
Oh yeah.
And there's some good like rock in it, like it shreds. The theme.
Yeah.
And then we go to this thing, and it's like the most generic, boring music you could ever put in a show, and they don't use any of the Halo stuff except for like the very end of the episode, and they even messed that up.
Yeah.
They even take this beautiful like ha 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 and like put this shitty other guitar music on top of it. That guitars are in Halo soundtrack, but this is so much worse. This doesn't even feel like Halo whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is.
There has to be some sort of a explanation as to why they just didn't use the original music from the game. It would have been such an easy win for them, and everyone would have been like, the music, yes. They would have lost their shit,
Yeah.
Whereas it's like they resampled it, and like a few of the original sounds were there, but it was just like a remix, like, and that did annoy me because I was like, the music is so
that could have been the case. That could have been the case though. Like they could have just paid for the samples and not the actual track itself.
Yeah, you would think that they would though. Like they're making, isn't this like in like association or whatever with the original crew that like made the games originally? So like it's like
no, but I mean, like they spent $200 million, they couldn't buy the samples. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Did I actually see? I don't know if I was like my eyes were playing tricks on me, but did I see Steven Spielberg credited as an executive producer in the credits, or did I read that wrong?
I didn't see that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I gotta look it up. I can't imagine Spielberg putting his fucking name on shit like that, to be honest.
I mean, he may not have like touched it at all, but he might be part of the production. It might be his company.
Yeah,
Amblin or whatever.
I did see him down as an executive producer, and I was like, that's weird. I know they don't do anything, but it's like.
I'm pretty sure his company signed a big contract with like Paramount to make TV shows.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just out there getting a little bit of money, baby.
I think the whole executive producer thing is just hilarious because they do literally nothing. Like they're literally just like stamping their name on something, and it's money
you're
in the
right.
Pocket. He is.
You're right,
he is EP.
Yep. He is EP. Steven Spielberg is at the top of the list.
Honestly, at this stage, like I'd be putting his fucking name on the posters and everything, like just to try and get people to watch it.
Oh, you gotta pay for that, baby.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, I think Paramount and Amblin Entertainment, which is Steven Spielberg, I think they have a deal now to be making shows for that stuff. So
gotcha. I really think, like, I'm kind of not excited, but I'm curious to watch episode 2 and see how they destroy, like, how they fuck it up. Like, I'm kind of curious to see how they do it. So I'm excited to watch episode 2 for all the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. Me too, bro. Like me too.
So I was looking at the composer for the show, and it's Sean Callery. Says he did music for 24 and Jessica Jones, in addition to like James Bond video game.
24.
So,
well, I'm glad it's
for
working,
20. I mean, I didn't really watch Jessica Jones yet. Was the music in there any good?
Forgettable.
Yeah, I was about to say it's not memorable at all. First season of Jessica Jones, I loved it. I thought it was amazing, but I don't remember any of the music.
Yeah, like I can, like if I think about Netflix shows, I can hear Daredevil's theme in my head, right? Like that opening soundtrack, his intro is great.
Oh, so
I can't even recall Jessica Jones trying.
yeah, I know she had like a kind of like a mystery kind of fucking like pianos and stuff like that. Like it kind of felt like an old detective kind of show or something. That's the kind of vibes you get from Jessica Jones, like the music in hers. But I wouldn't like none of it would be very kind of rememberable. Like,
true.
Well, there you go.
yeah, that's that.
That's why.
Did we? Hoff, did you actually? Did you say you got around to starting that Moon Knight comic?
Yeah, I've actually read the first two. Moon Knight, 2001, that run.
2001 or
Yeah,
2021?
2001.
I'm sorry. No, 2021. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're reading a completely different run to us.
You know, I never really felt like I left high school, so here I am.
I read the first 2 issues of it, just because I suppose we could probably do a bit of a build up for Moon Knight now, but I'm like, there's a lot of vampires in this comic book, like, you know, like I've never read Moon Knight before, so I don't know if that's very common that he's always kind of going up against vampires and stuff, but it was like even his assistant, what's her name, Reese, like she's a vampire, so I'm like, is that gonna happen in, like, will he have an assistant in the show? Like obviously he's on the phone in the trailers to someone, which I presume is probably going to be her, and I doubt she's going to be a vampire, will she? Could she? I don't think they intro it that soon, like without doing Blade or whatever first.
I mean, it feels a lot like the comic that we're reading right now is based on like I guess a couple of years later.
Yeah.
He seems to have already established himself within the United States, and he's helping people in the cities, you know, painting his moon moniker onto the walls, letting people know that like they're safe at night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I believe he does eventually move over to the United States later, but as of right now, we're going to be in where was it? I can't remember exactly where we're going to be in the show, but
London.
Is it London?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's going to be his origin. We're gonna see some origin stuff going on. We're gonna see some supernatural things, which like I think that later on we will have to deal with vampires. But as of right now, it looks like we might be dealing with just like phantoms or apparitions, things that are haunting him in the show. So I don't think we're gonna see Reese anytime soon. It's gonna be a coin toss.
And I think they can also totally change like Reese from being a vampire to like a werewolf type of character too.
Yeah.
Very easily.
I really liked the character as a vampire. I thought it was very good. Like, you know, there's a bit, I think it's in issue 2 where Moon Knight brings back like an injured person that he saved into the office, and like Reese is helping stitch her up, and she's like, I have to leave. It's like, oh, what's wrong with her? It's like dietary things, like, or choices. Yeah, restrictions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool. So like I want to see like stuff like that, like, would be great. Like I love characters like that. So
you know, I was blown away by this comic. I've read it before, and then coming back to it for this, like I just picked up so much more in it the second time. Like, one, the art style in this comic is, you know, some like Marvel at its best, I think.
Yeah.
Very creative how they shade, you know, Moon Knight's a character who wears all white, but they're able to like kind of shade him and make him interesting with like real scratchy pencils and stuff.
Yeah.
So just artistically, I love it. I love how they hold back a lot of colors, but he's always got this like glow to him. And then the story from McKay is just so good, man. You know, right from the very first episode or issue, it's setting up like 3 different things going on. It's like what directly is happening, what feels like is coming around the corner, and then like what's the bigger aspect for the whole run of the comic. And I thought the introduction of, I believe he's called Moon Hunter.
Yeah,
you know,
that
right
was
at
cool.
the very end, when he masks up and he's got that black hood with like the white moon on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good, man.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love this is such a good run. I forgot how good it was. I was like, man, this is like right off the bat is intriguing. You know, how is the comic book industry ever struggling when it's like this good? Like, what else do people want to read? You know,
I don't read a lot of Marvel. I read a lot of DC, and this feels like a DC comic to me. Like, it's And that's a massive compliment, by the way. It's just not, I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's incredible. Like it's really good. It's very like dark and gritty. Like there is kind of real Batman vibes off it. Like you can see how the two of them are so like familiar. Like when you're reading one, you're thinking of the other. Loved all the kind of shots of them like gliding and hovering in, and like the cape looking like a kind of half moon and stuff like that. It was fucking sweet, dude. Really, really
like,
sweet.
I know we've seen one shot of that in the TV show. I hope they do a couple of those where he's just got that full cape out, coming down on people, because that's so iconic, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I love how, although this is a 2021 comic, they do make sure to let people know at least a very brief moment of like where his origin lies on. And then showing the very like the many different faces. You know, they have, you know, Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, Moon Knight, Mr. Knight, and then I think there was, I forgot the last one. I think it was Kevin something.
Yeah, he's a taxi driver or something, right?
Yeah. And I love how the Avengers like set him up with a therapist so that he can work on his DID.
Yeah.
That's always the funnest thing about Marvels, is like how they do all these little connections. Like when Reese is sitting there drinking from like a Spider-Man mug. Like it's just like these little moments that you like kind of find in their panels that are hilarious, man.
Yeah, they're cool. I love the connective tissue's great.
Yeah, and the fact that Moon Knight will deliberately said, he's like, you think I'm Spider-Man? You think I'm just gonna arrest you and like put you in jail? No, I will kill you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He has no code.
I'm so looking forward to him on the big screen now. Like I'm very excited, and just what the future's gonna hold. You know, like him teaming up with like the likes of the Punisher. Like there's rumors. I don't know if we talked about it this week, but I did bring it up last week. But I saw a video. There was an interview that he did, and I think he's speaking Spanish in the interview. But I saw another video where it was translated, and basically he was just asked about, you know, what would you love to see for the character of Moon Knight going forward? And he mentions Midnight Suns, and there's been talks of Midnight Suns including like Punisher and Daredevil. I don't think Daredevil is originally in the Midnight Suns, but maybe they do. Maybe they're doing a kind of TV run of it, like, you know, and it would make sense to put Daredevil in there. But like if you bring back like, you know, Netflix Frank Castle, Daredevil, obviously Charlie Cox, then you've got like Oscar Isaac and maybe a Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange popping in and out. Like I think that'd just be fucking amazing. Yeah, so good.
I feel like if they did Midnight Suns, I would hope that it's not a TV series. I hope they bring it to the big screen, because like they need the money to make those things look great, man. With all like the supernatural things going on in it, I think we would be getting robbed if it was a TV show. Like it'd be great if Marvel could cross over all their TV franchises onto the big screen.
Yeah, I think that's that's the winning formula, dude. Like I think, you know, you build all the origin stories and get everybody to that crossover event, and then it's like the final showdown is on the big screen. It's where, you know, the big guns are out. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's, if they don't do that, you know, they're missing a real opportunity. Like, you know, they've got time now to build Moon Knight. They've got time to build Black Knight and fucking Daredevil and Punisher and all these people again, and it's like boom, couple of years, bring them all together for a big like Avengers style movie. That would be massive.
And then get this. So one of the former leaders of the Midnight Suns was Doctor Strange, but guess who actually takes over? It's Wong.
Oh my god.
So like we have Wong on screen already, so like it would be great just to have him be the leader.
Yep.
I see it. Wong is killing it in the MCU right now. He's so good. I love every time he pops up. Like I'm dying to see more of him.
Yeah. And like think how much better the Defenders would have been on Netflix if instead of them doing like a TV series of the Defenders, if it just would have been a 2-hour movie, and they had to hit you with it. Yeah. They had to they had to hit the ground running, catch you up that they're all together, and then we're off to fight the main villain of it or whatever it is. Instead of this like long drawn out series, like I think it would have worked way better.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think team ups are always better in the theater on the big screen.
And And so, like, if they don't want to release it in the TV or in the movie theaters, instead of giving us a 6-episode series, for $1 million an episode, let's just get a 2-hour or hour and a half, 2-hour movie with like a $10 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or however you price it out. I don't even know anymore.
Do you think Disney ever do that? Like, do you think they ever make movies that are straight to Disney releases that don't touch the theater at all?
I mean, they do it with Pixar nowadays.
Yeah.
I know the people at Pixar aren't in love with it, but
yeah, because it'd be kind of difficult, especially because you want to get as many sales as you want, and you want it to be cast out to as many people as you can reach to. So not everyone has Disney Plus, so it might be okay, but I think they would take a huge loss in sales, especially because people can just come to like a single household and watch the show together, or they could just share passwords.
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, like you're totally right. But they take the HBO method where it's like HBO is trying to get people subscribed at all costs. So if they, instead of having a, $150 million budget, kind of like Shang-Chi, they just give them like $50 million and they're like, go make a 2-hour movie with $50 million.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, and it could even be like a short film too. Like we could have just a nice, like maybe hour and 20 minutes, and just have a short film similar to the animated movies that you see. And just have like a really nice situation that goes on, like some crazy thing happens with like certain characters, and they resolve it, but it just takes a while. And I think I would love that a lot more than having just a show.
Yeah, which is is the budget reason, which is why I don't mind these TV shows running for like 30 minutes instead of a 50-minute episode, because I'm like, if you can take that budget and put it down into a solid 30 minutes instead of a drawn out 50 minutes, I think that it sells it better because you're able to use effects that are cinema quality. This is the Mandalorian, the Boba Fett episodes with the Mandalorian involved, where it's like that opening looked like a movie.
Mm-hmm. And the scenery where you see the armor and their conversation about the the Darksaber, and you see the casting of like space itself.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
100%.
Hell yeah.
We'll see, but Midnight Suns, I'm totally down for them to go and do Midnight Suns. Like if they pull that off, like I'm amped for that.
Well, one interesting thing about that is that it's going to be Mr. Knight that's part of like the comics of Midnight Suns. So I'm wondering if they're going to do Mr. Knight or if they're going to do Moon Knight if they decide to go forward.
It'll be Moon Knight.
Everyone
wants to see him. Everyone wants to see him in the Moon Knight. They want that costume.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I think it's got to be Moon Knight, right?
Yeah.
I just like the savviness and deductiveness of Mr. Knight. The fact that he's not really fighting too much. He's just more so like he's being a detective. He's an agency. He's handling things.
No, I definitely like him. I like the look of him. I like the character of Mr. Knight. But this is the big time, baby. We need the full costume.
Oh yeah.
We need the big powers. We need the cape flying out.
Nothing beats the right fist of Khonshu.
Yeah.
Can he? Because I've seen it in a couple of the trailers. It looks like the moon piece that's on his chest. He could take out like knives. Can he just like keep taking out as many as he wants? Like, did they just manifest or something, or is there like just 2 of them? Because like it looks like I thought maybe it would only be 1, but I saw a clip where he takes out like 2, like 1 for each hand, and I'm curious like if this is like magic or whatever, and if he can just keep like popping them out or whatever. I don't know.
I hope he can. I don't know.
Yeah. I actually don't know. He doesn't have very much like energy projection, so I don't know if he can just consistently like bring them out. Maybe they're moon rings, so like they obviously come back. So like if at max he has like 2 or 3, then I guess that's fine. But unless he has an arsenal like Batman, where he just throws out like 6.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the moment in the second comic where he gets like cornered by a bunch of the mind controlled vampire guys, and they're like, well, we're gonna take control of you, and we're gonna taste your blood.
Hey, sport.
Hey, sport. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was great with Holly.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those really fun comic book moments that is, how are you going to solve this problem without like beating someone up and like just punching them? And the whole time you think the threat is he's got his like moonblade out to throw at the guy. And then he uses, a different way to kind of solve the problem and get after it. And not only is it fun to see that creativity from a writing standpoint, it also really gives you insight into how clever Mark Spector is at solving problems, and then is a great character moment to show how fucked up he is.
Yeah.
Like it's tackling so much at the same time. It's great writing. It's great writing.
Did I hear that the TV show is being written by the same dude who wrote Memento?
No, is it?
I think so. I might be wrong.
I can't remember.
Fact check me there, but I could have sworn I heard, because I've seen a few people talking about like rewatching Memento before this. So I think one of the writers or someone who's involved in Memento is involved with this show apparently. So I really like that idea, because if you've seen, I presume we've all seen Memento. It's a fucking classic. But that story starts at the end and works its way back. So I wonder, are we going to see, like the show starting off with him at the end of the journey, and we're going to work backwards for him trying to remember stuff? I have a feeling that it's going to kind of go like a Memento style of series.
That's awesome. I mean, Memento is like one of the my favorite screenplays I watched during like the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So I'm down. That's great. That's a great hire for Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I'm right when I'm saying. I hope I'm not getting it mixed up with another project, but there is definitely a link there. It's someone involved. It's obviously. Maybe it is. I don't know who directed Memento.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
it wasn't it? Sorry, yeah. So it's obviously they haven't got Nolan, so it's obviously
take me to trivia night, baby. Take me to trivia night. I'm here for everyone.
Yeah, look, I'm really enjoying reading that comic. When I was reading the comic, I'm just like, I don't think they can do any of this in the show. Just like it would just be too weird if this show started on Wednesday and we just get introduced to vampires straight away. I think it would just be kind of crazy. I think it's a bit too it's a bit too out there. Like, so I presume it's gonna be completely different to what we're reading.
I widely believe that it's just going to be things that maybe Khonshu throws at him to get him to change back into Moon Knight, because obviously he's tried his best to block out any semblance of Moon Knight or Mr. Knight from his personas, and obviously like he's getting freaked out by Khonshu himself, so like he has to answer the call, and therefore like he's going to be having to deal with a bunch of like supernatural things. Not necessarily vampires, but I mean when we saw the trailer, we saw him beating on some sort of like weird looking like ancient
demon.
Egyptian.
Yeah, it looked like a demon.
Yeah, like a demon.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they would want to save the idea of vampires for Blade, right? Like they want that to be the big draw of Blade, is like vampires are coming to the MCU. This is crazy.
Yeah. I think if this show does vampires, they need to also have Blade in this show. Yeah, and I think that is very possible. I think we could actually see Blade. I think I heard a rumor that the first appearance that we see of Blade will actually not be in his own movie. It'll be he'll be appearing somewhere else first, and I would not be surprised if it's in this show. Because you got to think, like, he's in London right now, obviously in the timeline in the MCU, because he's just been with Dane Whitman. So why wouldn't he like be meeting up with Moon Knight? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a better way for them to do it. Excuse me. I don't like the MCU where it's like they just introduce like characters just out of the blue, right? I always like it more when they introduce characters like in Civil War first, and then we get Spider-Man the movie.
Yeah.
Then we get Black Panther. There's just something about that I think works better.
I think
which
so too.
It's not to say they can't do it because Ant-Man was fine, right? But I just think I like it better when they introduce characters first in other people's movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always like to, because again, we're kind of getting that feel of like, this is what's coming next. Like, it's like we see like the Black Panther shows up, but then it's like, oh shit, we're getting like Wakanda, we're getting everything, like, it's all coming together now. So yeah, I think if this show kind of pops off and like episode 4 Blade shows up, it's gonna be hype, and I think that is gonna happen.
Did you, Finto? Were you the one that sent me that short clip of Ethan Hawke talking with Jimmy Fallon?
Possibly. Yeah, it was this where he was like talking about spoilers and stuff, like joking around.
Yeah, like discussing the fan theories.
Yeah, that was a good
clip. Yeah, do you think he's just trying to play it up, or do you think it's true?
I don't know. I think he's very good at kind of playing it up, but I think as well it kind of sounds like he's just lying, like, like what's actually being said is true. And he's kind of just like, oh yeah, well, that'd be great, like, I think he's kind of, that's him kind of saying like, oh shit, yeah, it is real. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Like, I think this show is gonna be, and I'm praying I'm writing this, but I think it's gonna be the best Disney Plus show that we've had yet.
So far it's been like reviewed, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. Some reviewers are saying like, this is a really nice turn, and I hope to see Moon Knight and be amazed.
Yeah,
and it definitely looks like it has the most promise out of all the trailers and stuff we've seen coming along for Disney Plus. Like, I was kind of mild on every project that was coming out. Moon Knight was the first one that really struck me. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, I could totally get into this.
I suppose this is the first one that like Disney and Marvel are putting out that's a proper introduction to a new character. Like, this is like, all the shows that have been out so far, we've seen these people popping up in movies and so on, and this is the first time for Marvel that we're seeing like brand new characters. So it's an origin story basically, like, so it's something brand new. So yeah, I'm excited for sure.
And I remember reading something that said that I think certain ratings have been changed for Moon Knight. So it's I think it was like 16 plus now. Like they made it a little more restricted.
That's good. That's good. And I think them putting up like Daredevil and Punisher and everything onto their app, like, really tells us that, like, they don't, like, they're not afraid to show explicit content. So I think that's like a kind of tester as well. They're kind of dipping the toes in the water to see if people like start freaking out over like people getting impaled and stuff. And like, it's like season 1 of Daredevil is graphic. Like the bit where your man headbutts the fence, like, and kills himself in episode 3 is just wild. And obviously Kingpin crushing your man's head, taking your man's head off with the door and all. Like, it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be great. I think just the fact that we now have all that stuff, I think this show is kind of opened up now to be a bit more gruesome.
Yep. And I think that we had, I think it's CEO, I think it's Bob Chapek. I think if we had Bob Iger still, we probably wouldn't be getting a kind of more gruesome, but Bob Chapek's a completely different type of CEO. And he knows that like he doesn't care about the image of Disney. He cares about money. Like, truly.
Yeah.
If you see what's going on with the parks right now, he's like, I don't care. Like, there's so much going on that's tarnishing the brand of the Disney company within the parks right now that people have been up in arms about, but they're making tons of money off what he's doing. And I think he knows that if they do this, they're going to make more money. And that's his bottom line.
Well, they have to hit that demographic that they've been missing this whole time. We need mature audience section for people. They're hitting the kids, they're hitting the pure adults, the ones that can't stand the sight of blood. And then now we have the mature audiences where they want to see everything.
Yep. And they spent the money picking up the Marvel universe, picking up the Lucasfilms and all that goes along with that. So Disney is not the same brand it was 10 years ago. Like, it's not the same they don't have the same base. There is a much larger entertainment base than just people who are looking for family entertainment. Like now there's people they can cater to who, like you said, like they want like stuff that's a little bit more gory, that's a little bit more just not as PG. And I think we're getting it. I think you're right.
I think they're like it's a good play on their part. Like, and I think, you know, when I was a kid, I would never like watch stuff like The Walking Dead, for example, but now like 10-year-olds are watching The Walking Dead and loving it, like, you know. And I think just the world is becoming so much more desensitized to gore and fucking nudity and everything like that, like, you know. So I think kids are growing up a lot faster now, so I think Disney have said, look, we need to start putting out more like higher rated content, because all these, like, you know, there's so many kids that grow up with like Avengers 1 and, you know, they're in their 20s now and they want content, they want the story to continue, so you have to cater for everybody. And I think it's very smart the way that they're doing it, and thank God, because, you know, many companies maybe would not have pulled that trigger. They would have been too afraid to do it, you know, like protect what they have and so on, and we might not be getting any of this. So it's an absolute blessing that we are.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's also a good marketing strategy. It's just like Hoffman said, they're doing it for the money. Like if it's not on Netflix, but it's on Disney Plus, like now they're getting the revenue from there as well. Like they're making sure to pack in everything that belongs to them into their own content, which is great, because now I don't like, if you don't want to, you don't have to pay for Netflix to watch, you know, Daredevil anymore.
True. Yeah, for sure. Guys, we've just hit 2 hours. Fantastic chat. If we don't have anything else, we could break for the week, and next week is going to be a big one. So we've got episode 1 of Moon Knight. We'll probably talk about some more Moon Knight comics and whatever other nerdy news from
Morbius.
The week. And yeah, we'll have more. Do we have Morbius as well? Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Sorry, next week is going to be banger of an episode. Holy, didn't even realize. And then we could shit all over Halo episode 2 as well.
It's going to be the make or break episode for Halo.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jesus, yeah, next week's episode's going to be a big one. Big one.
People watching the chat right now, make sure to have your clip button ready.
Yes, sir.
Ready to go, because Hoffman's ready to rant during Morbius. Hoffman's ready to rant during Halo. And hopefully we're all ready to, you know, gush about Moon Knight.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus, next week's episode is going to be amazing. I'm so excited already. Will you guys have seen Morbius by Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try. I'll try go see it at the weekend then as well.
Yeah,
for sure. Tickets are gonna be available.
Yeah, walk up.
You could walk in probably.
Yeah. If Sony wants to like mail me a check to go see it, I'm in.
Yeah. Imagine we got to that point, like with the podcast, that like, you know, studios are paying us to see shit early and stuff to talk about it. That's the dream.
Imagine if we went to premieres. Oh,
that's the dream, dude.
You better kick me off, because they'll never let my ass in. Like, they'll never let someone like me go to those types of things.
Hey, at least they'd be getting an honest review, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably what they need.
Yeah.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you soon.
Later, everyone.
Later, everyone.
Bye.